I'll take it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I wish you a good afternoon to everyone and good morning to Don in Canada. So today I will tell you about our new version of the spaces and how we can go further basically with this new version compared to the first version that we have already implemented in OpenBash Passport. So first of all, as I told you, well, Spaces has been already in place now for, I would say, 1.5 years in OpenBash Passport. It has been quite experimental in a way that we have basically developed the Spaces based on the feedback of our customers and the needs of our customers, as always in OpenBash Factory and OpenBash Passport. And the needs for our customers, the first need was to basically have a kind, I would say, a filter community of the passport. So a passport inside the passport. And the reason was that, okay, we have 260,000 users in OpenBash Passport. And I would say for communities, there is a lot of, I would say, background noise. So if the people of your organizations wants to interact in the passport, it's quite difficult. So that was the first idea about the Spaces, to have your own dedicated area. And the Space has also been a very good alternative for dedicated passport, because it's a cheap way to have a dedicated passport. You don't need to install anything, and it's inside the passport, and your users can benefit of all the community and all the contents that you have in OpenBash Passport. So that was basically the idea, to have a better interaction. And then we started to have needs about, well, could we build pathways that we call now minimaps, and could we basically track and see what the people are doing inside the space? So it has been this kind of new, I would say, dimension for the passport. And the space is basically has been evolving more in the direction, I would say, of a management system or tracking system. We have more about management, as you will see in the new version. So about the philosophy, why are we basically pushing on the development of Spaces? As you know, OpenBash Passport has always been much more than a backpack. The first, of course, implementation of the OpenBash Passport was very much focusing on what we could call a personal learning environment. So the place where you can receive your badges, you can create your micro portfolios, you can have your profile, and very quickly, because we support open recognition, the idea was also that if I get a badge, I'm in my ecosystem, I have colleagues, I have, peer, I can be recognized also by them. So the endorsement, which is very important also for building, I would say, the value of badges in the ecosystem, has been very important. And we introduced this, I would say, community dimension. So with the gallery, and then now you have the Spaces, and the idea of the Space is that you can deploy different kind of project, different kind of activities based on badges. So badges are used as a way to basically manage and build different kind of project. What is central in our philosophy? It's all these three levels, all these three dimensions are connected to one thing in the central, which is in the center, which is the learner himself. So that's why OpenBash Passport is quite, I would say, innovative environment. I don't think that you can find the same kind of platform anywhere else, because all is basically connected to the learner, not only to the organization or the community. Okay, so what do we have now? What do you have now? When you get a Space, you have your own login page that you can brand. You can bring your graphic contents here. Now we have an SSO connection, which is possible. So you can, for example, use the university SSO and to connect with the space. So your students could go just by clicking straight to the space. And we have a dashboard, which is showing what you can do in the space. So it's important also to understand that the space is basically working with the OBF account. You need an OBF Pro account to be able to connect it to the space, but the philosophy is the same than pushing badges in Open Badge Passport as a badge recipient. It's also the same philosophy when you have a space. You don't create the badges or the badge application in the space. You create them in your OBF account, and then you connect your space and your OBF account, and then you can use the OBF account badges and badge application in your space. You can connect one OBF account with several spaces also. So for example, I will tell you about the Luxembourg case. Well, they have one OBF account connected to 35 different kind of spaces for sharing badges in different schools. Okay, so it's just what I was saying, that you select the badges when you publish a badge for learners. The space, you just select the badges that you can see in the passport coming from Open Badge Factory, and you can assign these badges. I would say in English, assign these badges to some learners, member of the space, or to a group in the space, or to every member in the space. And you can create also what we call the mini-maps, which is metro maps built with badges. And here you can have hybrid pathways also. So you can have badges which are basically coming from your OBF account, but also badges that have been published already in the passport. And you can assign also mini-maps, as you can assign badge application, as you can assign badges. And you can, with mini-maps, you can also track the progression of your learners in these pathways. Same idea, you can assign the mini-map to individual users, groups, and to the space. And you can even publish them also at Open Badge Passport level. Okay, what happened in this development, I would say, adventure? I would say that we had interested. No, it's not a project. I mean, it's more than a project. We set up a dedicated passport for all the schools of Luxembourg, and this dedicated passport is named EduPass. Okay, and EduPass has been a very important driver for the development of the version number 2 of the spaces. So let's speak a bit about EduPass. As I say, it's a national passport, so mainly for the moment for the schools of Luxembourg. And this EduPass passport was built because they wanted to implement a big project about digital sciences. So a digital sciences program based on badges or badge, I would say. So they have developed a badge system of 78 badges about communication, critical thinking, big data, programming, robotics, AI. Okay, and the goal it was to propose to assign this program to 35 schools, which means 11,000 students, 112 students, teachers, right? And which means about 850,000 badges should be issued in this program. We started with Open Badge Factory without using space first. So the idea that we did 78, or our contact created 78 badge applications in each batch application, they built a menu, this kind of drop-down menu where the student can choose his or her school, okay? And then based on the choice of the student, the batch application was directed to the reviewer of the school, to the teacher. But then we noticed very quickly that it was problematic because, first of all, it's very difficult to handle really 78 batch application with 35 different kind of choices in the application, because the teacher can change the school, some teacher can disappear. I mean, there is a lot of change all the time, so it's very difficult to keep up to date with 78 batch application. The other problem that some students didn't get the messages. Many of them choose the wrong school, so the application went to the wrong teacher. So it was not really working very well. They were very positive on the outcome. They were really really engaged. I mean, in this digital sciences program, but it was very heavy. And then came the idea, well, what if we could handle this big, project with a development of spaces? So we define, based on the use case, we define some requirements, which is, well, first of all, the teacher and the student should find easily what they have to do. Okay, it's basic, but should be a dashboard somewhere, a place where you can find what you have to click. That's all. The student should be able to apply to the badges and to receive them inside the space. So no email traffic with lost messages, with email going in the wrong places. And then what is also important is that the teacher should be able to review the badge application in the space, okay? And they should be able to see and review only the badge application of their own students, which was a very important point here. Not good if you get the badge application of a different school or different classroom. And of course, what they needed is also good reports on all the activity in the space, but also activities in the groups. And for EduPass, we also design, I would say, a format for importing users every night. And this format is basically sending also the role of the users, the school information, the class information, so that they go automatically where they have to go. So meaning that they go in their school. So 35 spaces in EduPass, and in each space for each school, you have a number of groups for the classrooms. Okay, that was the requirements, and it was going also in the direction of some customers, wishes. So we have not just done all this stuff only for EduPass, but let's say that EduPass has been a very important driver in this development. But I think it's really answering to kind of requirements that we have also from other customers. So what are the big changes, I would say, or the big evolution in the new version of badge applications? Well, first of all, the role system. So in the first version, in the current version, you have, I would say, hard-coded roles. So you have this admin, creator, user, issuer, and member roles. And they are hard-coding, meaning that there is the permissions are, you can't change any permission under these roles. You can't create new roles. You can't name your role. In the new version, you can create your own roles. You can give the name, the description. Then you can, of course, click one of the, I would say, template roles here, so that you will see the capabilities or permissions, which are connected to these default roles. But then you can, of course, click some capabilities on and off. So you can really create the roles that you need. I don't go into details now about the roles, but the roles are basically about what users can do in the space. So administrate the space, you can review batch application, you can issue batch, you can see reports. So there are, and this list of capabilities or roles, of permission will evolve in the future. So we will have the possibility to add new permission when we develop new features in the system. Okay, and the second important, would say, change in the system, it's the group structure or the group concept. So in the current version, groups are basically users who have got some badge. So you can see, okay, I want to assign this minimap to all users that have got the badge A, for example. It's not really working. So it's so we changed this system in the new version. You can create groups in two ways. So you can manually or with the import file for EduPass, a group members in this group, or you can have what we call dynamic groups, which mean that then here you can choose badges, and it will add the badge recipients automatically in these groups, which is quite interesting also because you can use this for having people to go from one group to another group and so on. And what is interesting here that you have every user has a role at space level, but also in a group. So for example, here you have Natasha. Natasha, she's a member at space level, but she's a teacher as group level, which I will show you means that she will be able to review batch applications of the other members who are in the group. So if you have, let's say, members in the group, her student, she will be able to review their badge application, but she will not be able to review all badge application coming from all group from the space. So if I explain quickly, I try to visualize that, but I'm not very good with drawing. It's quite complicated, but in fact, it's not complicated. So here you have usernames on the left side, some people that you perhaps know. At space level, they are all members. Members mean that basically there is only one capability. You can see each other. You can see other members, but nothing else. So you can't do anything at space level here, except Marcel Proust, which is basically reviewer here. And then where it works in this way, that John Doe, which is a student in the group A, when John Doe will apply for a badge, then his badge application will be sent to Charles Darwin, which is basically the reviewer of the group A. You can have also several reviewers in the group A. So you could have several teachers or several, yeah. Okay, and then it's the same with Socrates and Plato in the group B. But now, because Marcel Proust has more capabilities, more permissions at space level, he will be able to review all batch applications sent in every group. So this is something which is important to understand. We will write that in our documentation. But if you want to have a space where you want to manage, I would say, separate groups and separate projects in the space, you should give only minimum role to users at the space level. If you have a project or an activity where you don't care there will be groups, but you are in the same community. In this case, all these reviewer rights.
Done for the day. Say hi, George. George.
Sorry, I can hear some. Yeah. Okay. It was not a question, I think. Okay. So I can go on. And then in the new version, we have what we call a dynamic dashboard. So you see here that the navigation will be basically held in the left side of the dashboard. And this menu that you see here, it's built dynamically based on the roles of the users. So, sorry. So here we have an example in the EduPass passport, which is a student dashboard. So in the student dashboard, you see here on the left side, was it in French, this one? Oh, sorry, I put the wrong screen capture here. But so you have the home, you have My Badge applications, earn a badge, Minimaps, and community. Okay, so you see here that only few basically tools are provided to this user, because this user is only a student, so he can apply for badge application, but he can't review them, for example. What you see here, the Julie dashboard, you see first of all the badge application that she has been sending. And you see in red that some of the badge application has not been reviewed yet. And you see how her objective, and you see her badges here. But what was important in this project, that, okay, the student, let's say 12 years old, 30 years old, just come here, see basically here the badges that she can apply for. If it's already checked in green, it means that these badges have already been earned, but you just can click one of the badge application here and apply for the badge application. On the right side, you will have the news for the space and different kind of notifications. So if you have got a new badge, or if you need to, if you have some badge applications that have been rejected or accepted, and so on. Now, if we go to the next step. So when Julie clicks a badge application here, she doesn't have to fill in her name and email address anymore. So just because the system know who she is, so she just click here, it will open the badge application inside the space, and she can produce the evidence needed for this badge application, and just to send the badge application, which is, for EduPass project, it was a huge thing, because as I say, no email traffic anymore. The badge application are just internally from the database just appear for the learner, and then we go straight to the teacher. And what is also interesting in the new space, that the learner, the student, have also history view of the badge application she has basically sent or submitted. So you can see here that the dates, the name of the badge applications, and what has been rejected and what has been accepted. Okay, I'm sorry for the French here, because I saw that I already put the English version of that, but I forgot in these places. And then if I go to the teacher dashboard, here you can see in the teacher dashboard much more information. So you can see the information about the space, how many days the space will expire, number of members in the space, how many badge application has been provided here in the space or submitted. And then you see as a teacher straight away where you see 24 that, okay, you have 24 badge application to review. So you just can click here and you will go straight to review my badge application. You can see also your activity, how active you have been with your task. And then here you can see also your personal activity. So because the idea also in EduPass is that teachers can also apply for the badges. These badges are not only for the students. And then when I go to the next view, here you can see the teacher view where the teacher can review the badge application. So it looks just the same than in Open Badge Factory, but the teacher doesn't need to go to Badge Factory, and here he or she will see only badge application submit to him or her only. So not all depend on of course, on the permissions. So a new feature also in the new space version is that you can select badges and issue these badges inside Open Badge Factory, Open Badge Passport. Okay, so you don't create the badge in Open Badge Passport, but you can select it and issue it in the passport. Okay, so let's say if we increase management, and of course here you can see in the center of this new space, badge application are quite important. It's very important also to be able to track what happened in the space. So what you see here, it's the statistics. Statistics also works with the roles. So if you have the right to see the report at space level, you will see the report for all the space members. If you have the right to see reports only for your group, you will see only the report for your group. And here you see basically the report for each badge application that has been basically assigned inside the space. And you can click on these links here and get this information for each one. So, and you should also get this information as a CSV file. It was still missing in this view. Okay, so you have reports on badge applications, and the teacher will be also able to see not only the badge application that has been assessed, but also all the badge that has been sent by the teacher in the space. So every teacher or every user, basically, with a role will have the possibility to see his own history, all what he has done in the space for the issuing activity of the badges. Okay, and a new feature which will evolve, I think, a lot, but it was a bit like we say in French, my dada is my idea. So it's the idea that you could, as an organization, understand at a higher level what is happening with your badges in the space. So we call it space level objectives or space objectives. And here, the idea is that the administrator or the person having the right can create a new objective. For example, here you have An example, let's say if we are in a company, you have a new employee's technical skills, can be the name of the objective. And then the description is the objective is about technical skill that our new employee should be able to showcase by getting the following badges. So here you can see 2 badges which are in the program. Okay, it can be an onboarding program, for example. And then you have a deadline that you can set to this organization level objective. And then you can also define, is it a mandatory objective? So basically, this means that the members will get automatically these assignments, I would say, in their personal objectives. Or if it's an optional objective, they can accept or reject the objective. And then you have the achievement target, meaning that you can, for your target group, you can define how many members in your target group should achieve this objective before the end of the deadline. That's the whole idea. So, and then you can, as I say, add several badges here, and then you can assign this task to individual users, groups, or to every member in your space. And it looks like that. So basically you have this new employee technical skills. So you can see here, well, the data, mandatory objective, publish to space, goal 100% of the 8 users that we have in this test space. And then you have the great odds of being completed in time. So this is an algorithm which basically look at the deadline, look at the completion level of the objective. And then here you have this rabbit, which means that it looks like this objective could be completed before the deadline. But you can basically follow this objective and see, okay, if you see a turtle, it means that, okay, you are not going to do it, or it doesn't look very good, you know. So it's a bit an indication of how are we doing with this objective, how well our employees, for example, or our employees or students are progressing with it. And then when you click this objectives and you see the new employees technical skills, here you can see by week. Okay, so the completion of these objectives by week. So you could see basically here the progression, and then you have also the personal completion or achievements of the target group, or the people who are in the target group. And then you can click on or off the badges here, so you could have the same information for, let's say, 1 badge or 2 badges, 3 badges, depending on how many badges has been added in this objective. Yeah, so I'm quite interested on seeing how our customers will use this space level objectives, but it was the objective of this new space also to go further. When I say often put your badges in action, I mean that in many cases, you know, badging is still, you know, sending badges as flyers. So organization, you know, have badge platforms or issuing, you know, thousands of badges. You can see, well, you know, why is it in LinkedIn, or if the badge has been received somewhere, but it still is not really understanding what really happened with your badges. Here, the idea is that you could basically get the data, and based on this information, you could also modify your strategy. You could say, okay, we had this with our new employees, we had this strategy that they should, you know, basically master these skills before Christmas. It looks like only 20% are basically doing it. So in this case, perhaps we should, you know, contact them, organize some training, or change something in our strategy. And it's a place where badging is interesting. As I say, it's not only a kind of digital object which is sent as a certificate. It can be a way to make things visible also inside the organization. Okay, so shortly at the end, what this space is basically proposing. It's I would call it's difficult to it's a very special kind of software or platform. It's I would call it a learning community management system based on badges. Okay, I didn't find any ready words for this kind of application, but I think it's this community-based stuff is important, but also that this is based on badge and based on skill and competence tracking and understanding. So space are an effective environment for managing both badge applicant and badge reviewer activities, and the EduPass case is a proof that you can really deploy large badge programs for a huge number of schools, students and teachers, and you can manage it, which is, in my opinion, very important. Now, what is important to do in spaces is to have different kind of projects inside the space and to be able to target groups with different kind of badges, badge application, and minimaps. So this is also interesting. And as I was telling, quite much about this tracking and about the possibility to understand what really happens with skills in the organization. Now, the use cases, well, difficult to present all the use cases because what will happen that our customers will start to use spaces, and I'm quite sure that we will get interested use cases from them. But we have one, which is of course the EduPass project, which is a clear use case, meaning that spaces could be used for school districts, for big badge program for different kind of schools, universities, and so on. I see also a good potential for professional development if it's a competency-based learning, context. Then you could use the space like I would say a learning management system where you have, which is based on badges. So badges first and not training first. So you have a map first of what you should learn, what you should know, sorry. And then based on that, it could be directed to different kind of activities, a learning management system or workshops or whatever we want. Then there is a human resource development possibility also. I think there is a potential in Finland. Perhaps we will discuss with Lotta at the end of this presentation. I don't think that spaces would basically would fit well in big organization where you have this kind of HR system, which are not very flexible. But I think spaces could be interesting for let's say in Finland, for example, we have had already many years a large badge system for ICT skills and pedagogic skills of teachers for recognizing the skills. Many teachers have got these badges, but still we are missing the impact on the organization level. So with spaces, you could have a view of what is the situation now with the badges, that has been earned by teachers. So I think that it could support more, I would say, organizations which are quite decentralized university are in a way centralized and decentralized, because you have departments, you have faculties, you have a lot of things, and everyone is working in his own kingdom in a way. So so I think that in this kind, and I think also about NGOs and even associations that could be a human resource management system in a way. And then yes, we have in France quite many interesting projects with what we call collective. So there can be big regional, badging project and communities. And we will have soon the possibility to connect several OBF accounts to one space, which means that organization will be able to basically put their badges in common use, to share the badges, present or propose their badges for all the community. And I'm also interested about this kind of potential. Okay, but as I said, it will be released, this new version will be released on April 9th, and we're working now on the documentation, which is needed, because as you saw, there is quite much new in this new implementation. And if you use spaces still, I would say, in a traditional way, which means that its space is more like, I would say, a community space, passport inside the passport, but you don't want to deploy any project. In this case, you can set up your dashboard in the community mode, or if you want to have this kind of more, I would say learning management project approach, then you could choose project view and then have this new dashboard that I just show you. Okay, so I think we have still time for questions. Thank you very much. Any questions? I will go in the chat.
Yeah, many from Don.
I withdraw the question about Jean-Paul Sartre.
About Jean-Paul Sartre.
Okay, so do we go to the questions? Now you can fire. Don't shoot me, but you can fire with the question.
Maybe I can ask in reverse order. You were talking about space objectives, and a lot of people talk about having skills objectives for organizations, actually often for individuals, but I think mostly they're really interested in how good our organizations are at certain things. And I'm wondering, to what extent could your objectives be applied? So if somebody had a referentiel, like a framework to say we need to be better with SDGs or design thinking or whatever, how that could be mapped, and whether what you got there now is good enough, or if you have ideas of how that might.
Well, I think that of course all could be basically based on the badges now, because you have now the badges with alignment, so you can align to different kind of competency frameworks. So I think that the badge, in a way, it can of the basic, I would say, connector with this competency frameworks. But why not having a kind of, would say, system which could, based on the badge, make a list of the skills that has been, which belongs to this program, So if you have 10 badges about some skills, then you could say, okay, people who have achieved this program will have these skills, and then you could have a list of the skills, because, well, badges are readable, that you could extract basically, for example, the alignments to the competency frameworks and show these alignments also.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something. I don't see any big, let's say, challenge with that from a conceptual point of view.
Okay. I have another question, but maybe somebody else has one. Okay. If not, I sometimes call badge applications LMS Lite because you can just engage with open content and then decide to say who you are and say that you might have met the outcomes. Are there and the space currently is set up around badge applications. I'm assigning you this, etc.
Yes.
Are there plans to build out the sort of preparation part of a badge application, the resource part of a badge application, so that it can be kind of like almost like an OER course, and then you can apply for the thing, maybe with some embedded media or I don't know, links to H5P, whatever.
I've not been thinking about that. Basically, badge applications are still coming from, or they are in OpenBadge Factory. Okay, so they are. What is interesting now, we have done a lot of development on the API, meaning that the badge application, which is in OpenBadge Factory, will replicate, I would say, in the passport. So, I mean, the kind of evolution that you are speaking about, I think it could be done more in OBF side, basically. Yeah. So it's, but it's interesting to think. I agree about the connection between the badge and the courses, and so you want a badge, you click the badge, you go to the courses. You can do it already in the passport. You could do it also in the future in the space, so that we could add, for example, the badge in the way that we can add badges in the passport now with a link to a course, for example. Yeah. Any other questions? Lotta?
Well, not a question, but I think that the reason we like the Open Badge Passport and what we are testing within the passport is that we are currently developing a badge system for our staff, as you know, for the digital skills and pedagogy. And we want a system that is not our HR system, because we don't want our badges to go to the HR system, but we want the same properties, the way to track badges and see statistics and guide everyone through the process. So I think that's why we are really interested in Passport, because it combines badges and HR elements that we need currently. So yeah, and the new features, very nice. I'm looking forward testing them.
Good. And I'm sure that we will have a lot of ideas for further developing this stuff. But we have quite many good reports already, and the possibility to get all as a CSV report also. Except the application, I think that we didn't have it yet in the application, but it's not a big deal to be able to export also all the badge application reports in CSV format. But this is a very interesting this discussion about HR systems and badges, because if you approach big companies with badges, as you said, Lotta, they will probably say, okay, we issue badges, and the badges will be pushed in our HR system. But the problem that then at this point they disappear in big, let's say, bureaucratic systems. And I think that the space, the flexibility of the space could be could give to the organization a more dynamic view of what is happening now and how we could react. And of course, it's also really based on badges, and the HR system badges for them are often, I would say, just a kind of certificate, not more, not a way to lead a kind of strategy. Okay, what about Any other questions? Andreas? No?